So good morning, everyone, depending on your time zone where you're sitting. For me, it's already evening, but it's also nice seeing you all. So I take you to today's session. We will basically walk through the agenda. So it's a very short agenda. So we thought it's good to explain you a little bit how we would address our today's webinar. First of all, I want to a little bit explain you why you should maybe use a low-code platform. We have seen the poll, so many of you have answered. We have a standardized software. So I will little bit explain you why a low-code platform is a good solution for your company. Then we will jump into a live demo within Zoho Creator. So my colleague Patrick will assist me here. So it's not only a demo. So we will talk in terms of a business owner and the challenges and processes you have within a company and how you could solve them with the Zoho Creator. And at the end, we have some time for raising questions through the Q&A. Also within that webinar tool, you have a section where you can raise questions while the webinar is happening. My colleagues will try to answer them. If they are not all answered, we will make sure they are answered when the webinar ends. So just to let you know how today's structure is. So the first point I want to talk to you is why you should use a low-code solution. So as of now, many years ago, it was always a big of a hurdle to create an application, because creating an application would mean you need to write many lines of codes in a dark screen with like a green font, which is not everybody's favorite job, I would say. And having a low-code platform, it's very easy to do an application on interface. So Zoho Creator does offer a drag and drop option, which is quite easy to create, like a form to collect data and make it visible for your business users. As well as we don't need a lot of code as mentioned. So there is a no code integration. So we have like a drag and drop interface again, where we can drag our ifs and thens, and also a nice interface to, for example, automate processes. So not only building an application which collects data, but also the intelligence behind it. It's very important. So one point is, of course, the process automation. So we want to have processes in place that remind users on certain things to think about, make it mandatory, make some business rules. So all those things can be done within a low-code platform. And of course, we all having our mobile phones, we having our tablets, we have different kind of computers. So a usage of those applications we build ourselves across multiple platforms is very important, which means we have, for example, also the possibility to create an application on an iPhone or on an Android phone. So we have the flexibility to also adjust the interface. So, sometimes you go to websites which are very badly programmed. So if you open that on your mobile phone, you're not able to see everything. And within Zoho Creator, we even have the so-called mobile Zoho Creator. So we can write apps for the particular system like iOS or Android. And then once we have all those processes in place, we have put up our app, we have collected a lot of data. Of course, business intelligence and analytics are very important. So we also want to know what to get out of this data. What data is there? Is the data good? Is it bad? What do we learn from this data? So also a low-code platform is very flexible in that kind of a way. So we have many different types of possibilities to visualize things within the platform, and also put in some intelligence or some warnings. So this is the idea about the low-code solution. Of course, also if you compare it to other platforms where you can write your own stuff, it's also very cost effective. So you don't need to be in-depth developer to create an application. You just need to be a very IT tech affine user to start your your application today. So what we want to do now is, I want to tell you a little bit how the next steps will be. So we jump into the live demo. I will actually stop sharing my screen, and I will a little bit hand over to my colleague Patrick. So I'm in the position of a business owner, as I'm already in, and Patrick is our developer. And I will raise him some questions, and he will try to answer that. And so we start actually with a very simple one. So Patrick, let's imagine I am a business owner. And as a business owner, for me, it's very important to handle my customer relations properly within a tool. So as of now, I don't have any tool which could help me out in case of handling that. How easy could I do this with the Zoho Creator? So I see you are currently logged in a demo environment of the Zoho Creator. So it would be great if you could explain us what are the possibilities there.
Yes, in Creator we have different options and possibilities here in order to create or handle this use case. This is all in form of our solutions. So in specific, the custom app applications. And here we have our three main options to actually create a new application. And one is completely from scratch. If we have absolutely nothing to in front and want to start without basic forms and reports created, we can use that. If we have already our existing data in like a spreadsheet, something we can use the import from file. So this will open us an option to import different file formats into Creator in order to create based on this the first set of like forms we want to do. Or what we have as well is the option to choose from a created application from Zoho via the gallery. These are a set of templates, so it provides us in order to give us the option to use them and also create new applications and modify them. So we can also use this to use as a basis for our application. For the sake of time, I already did that step basically. So then it would create already a rather big application with a lot of elements already created for us to further customize. So here, if I go into the editor, assuming we do it from scratch, we would actually have directly start out in the editor and don't have any forms to use, and we would need to go into the plus to create a new forms. Here we as well have our options for that, so we can create through using templates or through data again. If we have a set of existing data we want to import, so And
So
if
you're
I go here,
creating
we go.
now a form. So I understood that we have different options. So we can use a table to upload to create an application or a form at least, and we can have the gallery. So it's quite impressive that Zoho offers a gallery with all those pre-installed use cases. So it seems to be a nice option if I want to get started with Zoho. So you're now creating a form. So my question is, can you tell me a little bit what are the advantages of a Zoho Creator form versus forms which are out there in the Zoho ecosystem as well as with other vendors? So what are, to your opinion, the advantages when it comes to a form within Zoho Creator?
Yeah, so we of course have other tools also to provide us basic forms, but in Creator, these forms not just function as our nor direct forms, it also functions as our structure for our database in the background. So currently we don't have any fields in this form, so no data, but here over the editor we can just add by drag and drop our new fields and stuff. And here we not just have rather normal fields we would also find in, let's say, so forms. But if I scroll down and further down, we get to the more specific fields, which are in Creator, which we can use to further enhance and further customize this form to our liking. Um, we also um, have in our if I go into our properties for this in this sidebar, we have also further actions to restrict form access to customize this even further. And what we will go in a bit later, we will have or we have also the options to use form workflows to customize the behavior of this form to whatever we want this form to be at the end.
Okay,
So
so
this
I
is
see there are many options to create the form and also put some logic on the form. But I just saw something really interesting. So there is this little icon which is always blinking with this round thing. So I saw it's like the SIA logo. So for Zoho users, you may know Zoho is SIA is the artificial intelligence of Zoho. So SIA seems to be also an option within the creator. Can you explain me what this here thing would do while I'm creating a form?
yeah. So the in Creator we have an integration either with the Zoho own AI or also with ChatGPT, which allows us to give suggestions to the specific form we are building. So in this case, Seer is suggesting me some fields like notes field, customer form number. I can just click this and this will or just add the field directly into the form. And now, since this is relatively generic with what we currently have, it's not really specific on this. If I would go into a different form, for example, which has maybe a bit more data in this initially based on what the structure already is, what the name already is. I also have the suggestion, which when loaded is currently loading that, and here it has more lead specific information. It suggests me like a lead type, like a priority field, like a conversion type in that. So this can be used to guide to help you find fields if you are not really sure what to add to this form or yet.
Okay, so this is a quite cool option, I would say. So what I see now is basically the lead form from the developer perspective. So this is the form my salespeople would fill out if they collect lead data. So I look at that form and okay, most of the fields I think are pretty straightforward and everybody knows what to enter. However, we all know if we especially talk about salespeople entering leads data, they're always on the run, right? And they always want to have the big fish very fast. So the data quality sometimes is not that super good, I would say. So the question is, how can I make sure, just a simple thing, right? The phone number is entered correctly. That there is not, I'm not sure. We have this international format with +1 for United States, +49 for Germany. So I want the people to enter that data correctly and in a certain way, that they not just start typing and then we have all this messy data and nobody can call them because the phone system would not even recognize, hey, there is a phone number. So can you explain me a little bit, how can I customize those forms in order to help the employees adding the data correctly?
Yes. So one thing, we have different field types, and with these field types, there are also pre-built validation in there. So our phone field will have a certain validation. Our email field has a specific validation, so it knows what an email looks like and validates already based on that. For the field specific, we have our field properties, which differ based on what field we have. So obviously, um, a date field can have different options from a video upload field, for example. Um, and here we have also always the validation option to make it mandatory. Also for certain fields like the email, this might be interesting to not allow duplicates. So this is something you can just add with a simple checkbox. And then there's, if I go further down for the phone field specifically, we have here um, specific our country code options and our default country code. So if I click in here, and it will suggest me a lot of countries for which this will use. If I don't specify anything specific, like um, the no the mobile number, then it will just suggest you all of them. But I can also make restrict them here in a way, and also I can set def what the default country code value is. So here it lists the options I have from my options, and I can use this here to set the United States. So if I go into the live form of this, then you can see also what it looks like for the user. So if I scroll down to the phone number field, we can actually not change the country codes here and everything. And for the mobile number as comparison, we have the option. It defaults here to Germany because it knows from my location that I'm in Germany. So that's why it's set there. But it can be changed because we have way more options here. Of course, when we go for guiding the user, we can also use our workflows to further enhance the system and build upon our default entries. So here I can go to the workflow section of this and actually can go to the form. So here we can um, have our form workflows, which if I go into the load, for example, for guiding, we have here our editor and which uses Zoho to enable scripting. And here I can also have some options like a focus field to make sure this will focus when I load the form to focus the mobile number. So now if I load this, it's my cursor is already set in the mobile number, and we can also use this to guide the user along, so they don't actually need to click everything. So we can guide them through the form how we wish.
Okay, so I see this is quite an impressive feature. So we can set the focus on certain fields, which I think helps the user a lot to navigate through a layout which may have a lot of fields. So you explained now the logic with the mobile number, right? So I want to make another example. So let's say we are a company and we in the automotive sector, and we say we only want to work with particular leads which have an overall turnover greater than 100,000 US dollars, for example. So what I want to do is I basically want to tell the user if he enters the value for the annual revenue and it's smaller than 100,000 K, he should get a notification saying, hey, I'm not sure this lead is not qualified because it should be greater than 100K. So is something like that also doable within the creator?
Yes. So here, if I jump to um, our workflow editor, here we if I click a new workflow, I can basically create a new form workflow which will act on certain events. So in this case, I'll choose created, and here I have different areas where to perform this. So if I check validation on form submission, which will actually trigger before the data gets actually inserted in this case. And here, date. So I can go in here and create a new action. Depending on the action, I would have here also a general option of whether or not I want to have a type of just interface for setting the actions, but since we are on the validation step, we only have the deluge script. But um, regardless, so provides us here on the side also a sidebar of a set of actions we can just drag and drop into this field and then get a little pop up. So I can just use this here also to fill myself field. So For example, the annual revenue is less than 10,000 here. So if I'm just done and insert, then it inserts this. And what I want to do now is here an alert statement and just say revenue is
Sorry, too small, I would say.
yeah, and maybe I also wanna print out the revenue for the user. In order for us to actually cancel this, there is a specific function called cancel submit, and this will just directly cancel any submission. So if I go back into our form, quickly reload just to be safe, and then I'll just need to set this up. So, and also one thing, this validation will not trigger if we have our default mandatory things, like in this case, it has our validation here because we didn't insert the phone number. So, and now I just say 50, and it now says no, it's too low. What we can also do here for the alerts, instead of writing it like this, we can set it up with brackets, and also set here for which field this should alert. So if I now press the submit button, it will print out the error message directly at the fields we want.
Okay. So this looks quite interesting. So we have different options of validating the data users enter. So we can set up certain business rules so that the user sticks to the respective rule. So let's imagine we figured out our form, people are entering the data. So as a user, I will have the interface to enter the data, and I will have an interface to see the leads. So what I know is there is some kind of a list view thing, but is there also a possibility to visualize this data a little bit? And what kind of options do we have when I want to work with this data to see how it looks? I'm not talking about the reports, more like some kind of a view or something, right?
Yes, so if I go out here into this, we have our list report. Generally, if you create a new form, it will also create at least one list report automatically, which shows all the data we have as an option. And here it's our leads in this case. So if I go into edit, we can show the editor for this. So here on the side, we have our different layout types. Depending on what fields are available, different types are also shown here. So we can use this to change how this all leads look. So if I click on this layout type, it now will show which fields to show. And but if I go on axis, now it shows them as this sort of cards. This is just depending on how you like. If you don't like any of the options, you can also always create a custom layout for this. So, and here we can just set our fields. We have our, we can configure buttons here as well to show on the record itself. Same with like some type of detail view. We have different options to show and have a layout. In this custom app, for example, this detail view is not accessible because it's using the more advanced option of using a page to display our data in more detail how we want it.
So
And
those are the kind of different versions we have displaying things. So we can style that, maybe work with different colors just to make it for the user, I think, more
yes,
nice.
yes. So in our fields, if I select a field, not a button, then I also have here on the side a style field, which we can use to configure here just some templates we can quickly use, but we can change the sort of display of the button of the field itself, and also make it so it's conditional. So we can say if the, I don't know, email is not null, for example, in this case, and also give it a name and save this up so I can use that also for the email field. If I go in here and configure it, will list our formatting rules we have. So this is a way we can use to format the table itself. And this, maybe I'm set up the condition wrong in this case. Let me double check this. Yeah, I said is null, not is not null. So that's the case. We have an email, so it did not show, but now we have changed this, and now it displays it differently. For general design around the app, we also have our option for themes, where we can just generally change the layout of the entire application, and also have if I go here, a set of either preset color options, or can change it to fit more our branding or our aesthetic views in that. So I can just go in here and um, put in the correct color I want.
So this is quite nice. So I like that blue, but as you know, since I'm a European, I'm Europe person. We European guys always love to work with calendars. So I saw in that lead field, in this lead form, there was a field called next appointment or lead creation time, all that stuff. So for me, it would be nice having a view where I can see how many leads has a user entered on a certain day, like a calendar view. So does Zoho offer something like that, like a calendar kind of view?
Yes, so there are two different options we can use there. As a default, so allows us over the more options to change the view we currently have. Here it currently gives me a Kanban map and list. This is based on the fields I show the user, so I don't actually show them date feed, so it doesn't suggest me a date. But if I go in the Add New, we have the sections for the report, and here we have our different report options. Among them is also another list view we can use, and also stuff like a calendar. So if I choose this and select our leads, it will this. First, it gives us the title. Let's give it the name of the lead, and then we can set the event date parameters. So here we can either choose one field like the edit time, or we can also set multiple fields if we have a start and end date, for example. Then we can set this calendar, and then we have our creator specific calendar view. Here it shows um, our leads here now in this calendar on Monday. And we can also go in here in the report options to further customize the property. So we can have specific event formatting rules to make this gray box not gray, and also some general information on how the calendar should appear, and what the standard configuration is, for example. And I don't know, maybe our week starts at Wednesday, for example, so we can also change this to make this appear differently.
So I see there are many ways of displaying and viewing the data for the user itself. So I could go ahead and create here a new lead from this perspective, but I could also see which lead have I created on which day, and maybe also see a summary. So this is quite interesting. So we talked now about how we can use, or how we can create an application. We did a form. We define some rules for the user, we define some views for the user. So now I'm, as a business owner, I would be very happy to have some reporting, because as I understood, this is a view. So now I want to see what kind of reports can I create, and can you explain a little bit what are the different options we have within here when it comes to reporting?
Yes, for reporting, if I click back to our reports, it's hidden in here. We have our pivot charts and our pivot table as one option. So if I click on our, that's not what I wanted, on our pivot charts. So I select out the lead. So, and give it a name and say create. It now opens our report editor. And in fact, this editor is powered by Zoho Analytics. So what I can here do is use the drag and drop to put into my access to create the report. And then I have here click to generate the graph. Depending on what I put in here, the report will be automatically generated, but I have options to change it into different things, the same options I would have in analytics itself. So if I have our address field, for example, so our city, I can use this as a city coordinate, and then it will um, have the option for a map, for example. and what we, so I'm closing this. Now, the other report option is our pivot table. So this table, so this is similar to the pivot table options we have in analytics as well. So I can just use this and maybe annual revenue for the sum, and it will create out table view, which we then have access here. What we also can do as a side is to go in here and create a page. So page. And here on the side, we have our also some charts we can use, which are done by Zoho Creator itself. And for example, some chart views like an area chart and funnel, and also different gauges we can put in here, or we can also, if I go into reports, I can actually put in my reports I have. So I can put in my chart report, and it will be visible in the page itself.
So that means I can create a page and put certain KPIs and dashboards on it to view the data. So I have one question, Patrick. If I look at this dashboard or at this KPI, this will always show the real-time data, right? There is no delay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
every time I open it and make a reload, right? It's
Yeah. You also have the option to regenerate when you're here on the form. It will then try and sync it up.
okay.
And also refresh options, but in general, the data structure in the background is our data we have here in the system. So
So
yeah.
basically, it's a real-time data thing. So as we saw this chart with the map and it said no data available, this leads me to my next question. So since I'm having already tons of leads, maybe in a spreadsheet, my question is how should I get them into the system? Because of course I'm too lazy to enter them via hand into the system.
Yeah. Yes. So we can of course import them here directly into any of our normal reports. And now not really possible for our charts, because these are just displaying, but for example, our calendar, for or leads here, we have here under the more option also an import interface. So if I click on this, this is similar to when you create an application. Here above, we also see our most recent imports in the last 24 hours. And here I can either put it from a cloud service. I can paste it directly in here. I can drag and drop it into this pane, and then it will work. Or I can use just click here on local storage and have here sample import. So if I click on this, I get to the import interface. So here we can fine tune where the data is actually going. So for example, this owner field here we have, it suggests us to put in the industry, but I know that this is our lead owner, for example. And We have here also the option to, if I go on add column, to add more fields which are maybe not in our initial table, but in creator or creator table, and I want that. So in this case, I'll just say the lead status in new. What you can also see on the side where the column mapping is, for next appointment and phone, this has an exclamation mark on it. That is because it warns us that the phone number format is not standardized, and it's can lead to issues in importing. So if I click on standardize phone numbers, I have here the option to change them. So in fact, let me go ahead and change them to United States. So it all normalizes them so they can be imported. Same with the appointments. So it has here the day, month, year, but I wanna standardize them. So I just click apply, and then this is done. We technically here also have our smart suggestions, which on this table we don't really have any big ones, but we can use that to also clean up the data we already have. So when I'm finished here, I can say import, and then we have an import interface. Since we only have 2 records, this was pretty quick, but this shows us the general progress. Here we can also show the import status and access then the application. Or since it's finished, I can click on the data import process is complete, and it shows me a general overview of, okay, we have 2 number of records. From these 2, all 2 were successfully inserted. If we have failures, we can also view what the failures even were, and can fix them essentially. So if I access the application, these leads now are in here. It's our Janine and John Doe.
So that's quite impressive. So I already thought I need to rework the whole file because of the data structure, but there is an inbuilt option already within the system. So I think we got a quite interesting overview what the tool could offer us in terms of what options we have. So thank you, Patrick, for explaining all those pointers.